Welcome to This Week in Habs Land. My name is Jordan, and across from me from the table for I think the first time in like a year and a half,
Too long.
it's Brian.
Yeah, we usually I know how seamless it sounds when you hear it out of your speakers or your car or your headphones, however you're listening to us. But we actually do most of these remote because Jordan refuses to move back to the city of the team that we love. Because he very smartly does not like orange cones. I think that's the main reason, probably.
Yeah. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, likewise.
In person.
Yeah.
I think this is probably definitely the first time this season, which again, the season's over and we have like 3 recordings left.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we did this. So lots to
It might have
talk
been
about.
the draft last year. It's probably about a year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So stuff to talk about. We're under a week until the NHL draft. There's stuff happening in the NHL that we're going to focus on, obviously, through a Habs lens. And so we're going to play this game here. Well, maybe not so much a game, but kind of discussing in bits and bobs what we think the Habs are going to do about ... And look, we're absolutely going to get to the forwards and the defense in terms of like who can the Canadiens acquire. That'll be the bulk of this. But I feel like we haven't had enough of a discussion or significant enough of a discussion on both Sam Montembeault and Brendan Gallagher. The Brendan Gallagher one's a bit of a redux, but I want to start with Monty because I think you and I maybe were a bit dismissive of like, well, he's going to be gone. And there's been, I think Arpin Bass, who's been the main guy saying, hey, like you probably don't need to move him, right? You don't need to just jettison him out of here. And maybe it's better for Fowler to be the starter in Laval versus the backup in Montreal, whatever. So it's been around enough that I thought it deserved to like be talked about again. So Brian, what do you think will happen to Sam Montembeault over the next 4 to 6 months?
I think that if he has any value, he will be moved. I just want to say that right off the get-go. The question is, does he have any? You absolutely cannot have 3 goalies like that we were talking about last year when Monty was serviceable as being a problem. Like prior to everybody recognizing, oh wait, he's not serviceable anymore. At least he wasn't last season. Was it a blip? Was it the aftermath of the injury? That's what I'm curious about. Because if he comes back to full form, how he played 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, as I forget who commented on one of our last videos where I thanked Montembeault for his services, and somebody promptly said, you're thanking him for denying us Celebrini for being good when we were trying to tank. Okay, he also made it so that Nick Suzuki didn't want to either leave the team or off himself. So there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
What I'm most fascinated by is if Montembeault can get back to form. Because if he can, then he has value. He could be a serviceable backup to Dobesh, because I think Dobesh has completely taken a stranglehold on the starter role. And then Fowler, yes, would get closer to 45, 50 games in the A, which might be better for his development anyway. So I'm not adverse to that at all. Like keeping Montembeault to me does not seem that crazy.
Can you risk Monty playing the same way he did last year for the first quarter of next season?
No. So, okay, look at who got where in the playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes won the East and got the easiest path we've ever seen and lost 3 games on their way to hoisting the cup.
Yeah.
So it matters.
Yeah, like what if the Habs play Boston in the first round and not Tampa?
Massive difference. Oh my God, massive difference. You go into the next series not being as bruised, not being as tired. Look, what I will say is for the development of the team, I think it's better that they played Tampa than Buffalo than Carolina this year. I would have preferred that in the long run over those easier teams, but that might be done now, man. They've proven it. Now it's time to get the easy matchups and hopefully home ice advantage.
Yeah, so that's where my hesitancy comes from. I think I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, the way the NHL will have 84 games next year. The AHL, I believe, is staying at 72 games. The way the AHL schedules their games, there's a lot of 3 games in 4 nights or 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
So Fowler at the high end would play 45, maybe 48 games. In the NHL with 84, like I don't think Dobesh would play more than 50 to 54, probably in that range. So now tell me like, okay, 40, let's say 45 games versus 32 games, AHL versus NHL. Then also you have NHL practices, you have NHL coaching, you have Marco Marciano every day.
Yeah.
Like I actually, if we're purely talking the like Jacob Fowler development, I actually do think a like a modern day backup, which is not like the old Alex All days where he'd play 9 games to carry price to 73.
Yeah.
Like a modern day backup who plays 35 games, especially with a couple more now. To me, that makes more sense. And also it's the risk. If Monty costs you 3 to 5 games before you really pull the plug again in December or January, I don't know. Like the margins we expect, Toronto got better. We'll talk about it, but
Yeah.
like,
Much.
and Toronto's made the decision of we're not gonna tank. I mean, they don't have their pick, so they can't. But they've clearly made the decision of no, we're gonna go for the playoffs
Yeah.
next year. Unless something changes in Detroit, it'll be 7 of the 8 teams really actively pushing for a playoff spot next year.
Yeah.
Atlantic is tough. I don't think you can afford it. Now, Kent Hughes historically doesn't like losing guys for zero. He traded Jonathan Drouin for Denis Gurianov, right?
I don't even remember. It was so insignificant.
Someone,
But
it was either
yeah.
him or Dodonov was for Gurianov, but like he couldn't see those assets go out the door for nothing.
Right.
There is Kovacevic goes out for a fourth. Jake Allen he holds on to for 5 months, and it's super awkward with 3 goalies, and he still ends up getting a conditional 3rd round pick that stayed a 3rd round pick. He doesn't like losing in the asset game, and I wonder if that might end up being what pushes it to him setting a price this offseason for Monty and saying, I want a 3rd round pick. And if he doesn't get it, that they'll just go with Monty as the backup and Fowler and Laval. I feel like that's the bigger, and maybe that's idiotic. Like that might be something worth criticism of.
So I don't think it's idiotic. I think it's the right thing to do to try and get something for what you have. It just makes sense logistically. That being said, a 3rd round pick for Sam Montembeault. If there's an idiot GM out there, great, that might happen. I don't think like if that's what he's looking for, best of luck, man. Who's paying that for a guy who had one of the worst save percentages we've ever seen in the NHL? Like that's not hyperbole. We looked it up. I forget what the numbers were, but he was like 1,100.
Right.
He was like 4th from the bottom or some crazy shit. Like you just can't. So okay. So here's the thing: if he wants to leverage it into getting a return, which fair enough, that's a smart move. You got to play him in the NHL because he has to prove that he's serviceable again, or else no one's getting him. But by doing that, you're risking losing those 3 to 5 games that we were talking about before you realize, oh, this isn't working. And also, like, I just think Martin St. Louis won't stand for it. He's going to have one bad game, and Martin's going to go, we're not doing this again. I told you last year with my actions of basically removing him and playing Dobesh double headers, he's not playing. So,
yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is that the goalie market might actually be really strong this year. Jacob Markstrom's available in New Jersey. Gustafson in Minnesota appears available for something legitimate. And then Sergei Bobrovsky's a free agent. So there are significantly better, and those are just 3. There's others as well that can be made available who either have more promise in the long term because they're a bit younger or have a better track record. The first of many tangents of the day. Connor Hellebuck. What's going on here? Why are we here? Are we just reaching the point where every American star player who plays in Canada is like, I guess not just Canada because Larkin is in the US, so it's fine. I'll remove that part of it. But are we at a point where it's like every of these like high profile US born players are just gonna like something's gonna happen now? Because Hellebuck has 5 years left on his contract. This isn't like same goes for Larkin. This isn't Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes to me made enough sense. He was in the second to last year of the deal.
We're not getting close to an agreement, so I gotta walk.
If the Matthews stuff eventually starts, it kind of makes sense. We're in 2 years left territory. Why are we hearing Hellebuck's name?
Dude, if I was on a team that couldn't do it, and there was the legitimate possibility that because I'm such a good goaltender, I could go to a team who can do it, it being the Cup, then I don't see it as that big a problem. I think I'm on their side. You know what I mean? And the irony being that Hellebuck is not good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So like he's the prime reason that they don't go as far as they should. But anyway, like it must suck. And I'm thinking more of like Larkin. I think Larkin to me makes a ton of sense because how long can you be in one place and just stagnate and not get anything done? And that one is not an American wanting to go back to the States. As you said, he's in Detroit. But how long can you just stagnate? If I was on a losing team for years, I'd be pissed off and want to go to a winner.
Yeah. The Hellebuck stuff is also a bit different, to be fair to Hellebuck. He's not at the Larkin stage where he's like, I want to trade. But the fact that these like trial balloons are coming out means we are 6 to 8 months trade deadline time away from a bad Winnipeg season happening, which I can't say Winnipeg's looking any brighter
No.
right now.
I mean, people are even talking about Scheifele going out the door because Hellebuck's going out the door. So it's like this cascading effect of like, what is it going to do to your other stars if Hellebuck leaves, or if there's even a possibility of him leaving?
Yeah. And it's just also the reality with a franchise like Winnipeg and Edmonton as well, and Calgary as well. I think Ottawa probably in the same boat. These are franchises that are going to have to, I think, just completely bottom out, rebuild through the draft for 3 to 4 years, and then you have your window again. If you're never going to be a destination, that's how you have to build with these teams. And maybe Winnipeg can get ahead of it. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. I find it weird that like all these names are being brought up, and then Hellebuck. And I had to check Puckpedia. I'm like, is he expiring? What's going on here? It's like, nope. He's 33 and has 5 years left on his deal. Now, maybe it's like, I want to win, but also you had a President's Trophy team and you sucked in the first round.
Right.
And your team still got you to the second round, and then you were still bad in the second round.
If not for that American thing of like wanting to go to the States, which is a wrinkle of this, Edmonton would make a ton of sense.
Yes.
Regardless of his play in the playoffs, Connor Hellebuck is still a legitimate starter. And if you're trying to keep Connor McDavid around after he signed that beauty of a deal for you, and he was just the goodest guy in the world to have done that, maybe you want to throw him a bone and help him out a little bit in net. I don't know. That's just me.
That's fair. Monty, wrapping this up.
Yeah.
It's mid-June right now. Where's Sam Montembeault in October?
So not on the Canadiens. It's Fowler and Dobesh on the Habs, and then I'm gonna say Laval. Or like, look, maybe they trade him for something small, but just not the Habs. Simple as that.
I agree. I want to believe this. I think it's a waiver wire loss. Ironically, the same way that's how the Habs got him.
Yeah.
Also, the part we didn't really touch on is like it's the $3.15 million.
Yes.
That's
massive.
That's more important than like Ken Hughes holding out for a 3rd round pick, right?
I would take that space over the pick. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Shifting over to Gallagher. We've talked about Gallagher here and there, so we don't have to get too deep into it. I just wanted to bring it back up in part because I still hate the idea of a buyout. So like the one way to look at it is Brendan Gallagher 50% retained is $3.25 million versus a buyout, which I believe is something like 3.5 this year and 1.6 next year. So to me, it's like buyout is so far out of the question here.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually come back to something we've talked about. Is the main source of your frustration, because you basically said the last few episodes, like, hey, this is the first time I've been really annoyed with management. Is it the specific act of, because I've been trying to pinpoint it, like, is it scratching him at the end of the regular season, scratching him in the playoffs, or is it the refusal to bring him in Carolina when you kind of saw the writing on the wall?
It's that refusal mostly. It's that Brendan Gallagher was sitting on the sidelines watching his team lose in a game thinking, if I was out there, I'd be bringing the one thing that's lacking, which is energy. And I do get at that point in the playoffs, you just got nothing left in the tank. Maybe watching Brendan Gallagher, a refreshed Brendan Gallagher, rush and crash the net would not have done that much. Maybe it would have. Maybe we'll never know.
Yeah,
I think it's the not trying that is that is my main gripe with it. The regular season benching, I did not have a problem with when I thought it was in order to save him for the playoffs. And by the same token, he wasn't playing good hockey. So I think that's legitimate. When the playoffs come, though, he's a different player. What happened when he got injected into the Tampa series? He scored on his first shift.
Yeah.
By crashing the net and getting a rebound. Like, sometimes that's the way you got to do it. Anyway, like, I know at this point you're over it. I think I'm getting pretty close to over it. As soon as I see Gally in a Vancouver Canucks jersey, likely to be Vancouver Canucks jersey, I think I'll be like, all right, best of luck to you, and we could put this behind us. But I just didn't love that.
Okay, first of many weird trade proposals. Not one that I had planned to talk about.
Okay.
1-for-1 Pettersson for Gallagher. Who does either team say yes to this?
Vancouver says yes and gives you a fruit basket. Okay. Because they're so pumped to get out from under that ridiculous Pettersson deal. Look, one of these guys you pay for 1 year, and the other guy you pay for 5 or 6. I don't know exactly how many. So, man, oh man. And I know Pettersson is a second line center. There are 64 top 6 centers in the league.
By definition,
there's 32 teams.
When you think about what's a second line center on a cup contending team,
you want so Nick Suzuki is a top 10 guy conservatively, center wise. You probably want a top 30 guy as your second line center. Like, if you want to be really dangerous, I think that's what you're aiming for. And Pettersson ain't that. Will he ever get back to that? Who the hell knows? I just don't want to be the team that rolls the dice on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I still think, like, the one thing with Pedersen is that he is available. Whereas we're gonna start talking about some centers now, and it's dark out there in terms of who's available. So we can start going through the list. I also don't think, like, I think you stay away
Just
from Pedersen.
the last thing on Pedersen that I'll just throw in here, Vancouver is so enamored with the idea of getting rid of him, they're willing to retain on 5 or 6 years. They're willing to retain. That's what a lot of look, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but many reporters have reported that. So like,
so the interesting thing with Vancouver, and Vancouver will come up again, is it seems like the owner and ownership group is willing to rebuild but not spend.
did you say build? Like they're building a practice facility, or
Oh, okay.
oh, you mean rebuild the okay,
The metaphorical rebuilding.
Okay,
of
I
the
understand.
team.
I understand.
No, why would you want a practice facility? Okay, so let's talk forwards.
Yeah.
The dream of Nico Hischier is seemingly dead. It's okay. We thought so. We said it's a fireable offense if they don't re-sign him. They don't extend him on July 1st. So what do you think his AAV ends up being? Like if I gave you over under of 12 million.
I'd say a little over.
Yeah.
12 and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
You keep that guy. You pay him what he wants. He's so good. You don't you don't let him walk. And you don't even try and get a trade for him. I think you just sign him.
Yeah. Okay. It is what it is. It was fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Vincent Trocheck, next one, I think we can kind of fly through quickly. 2 more years left, 32 years old, American. Don't think he waives a no trade to come to Montreal. But yeah, I think it's just on the topic of the Rangers, unless you disagree with that Trocheck assessment.
I think you're right. I think no interest.
The Rangers are a tire fire of a management group with Chris Drury right now. And I have a sneaking suspicion they are in the best position actually to sign Alex Tuch.
Really?
Now, Buffalo moved Kesselring earlier this week out to San Jose. They still don't really have enough cap space to re-sign him. I don't know if they can move another contract. Not that Kesselring had a contract; he's an RFA.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers have cap space, as far as I know. Basically, everyone they have is signed, and guys, despite how much of a joke the franchise is, appear to like playing there. So yeah, it's my guts telling me with Alex Tuch right now. I know we talked briefly about him in the
Right.
last week's episode, I think, but yeah, that's my Rangers thinking right now.
Okay. I mean, it's not like they don't need him, and they do have the cap space. Like they got 26 million, so that's an interesting fit, man.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting fit. Okay, were you that enamored with Tuch anyway? Like, I know we discussed him, but
look, we just saw with the Leafs with Darren Radish. Like, you do have to overpay, but the trade-off is you don't give up anything from an asset perspective.
Right.
Like, I think I've mentioned in the past, like, you have to think of unrestricted free agency as like, well, the trade is an extra $2 million in terms of
every
cap
year
space,
on the cap,
right?
Yeah.
Versus then trading, X amount of picks or prospects. The real trade-off is you're giving up a bit more of your salary cap. But the Leafs now have Darren Radish. So the similar concept would be like, okay, you're going to overpay for Alex Tuch, but you now have Alex Tuch and you didn't subtract anything from your roster.
Right.
And
they already have so little in their roster. What can you subtract and
yeah,
not get immensely worse?
So, okay, that's Alex Tuch. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And Vincent Trocheck. I also like Hughes, Rangers, until something actually happens there. I'm not going to believe it. Let's do McTavish.
Okay.
That's been the name swirling around a bunch. It really seems like there's a bit of like a cottage industry right now trying to push McTavish to the Habs just to talk about something. I'll give you my position here. I don't see it.
Okay.
Sure. Is he an upgrade on Oliver Kapanen? Yeah, probably. Not enough of an upgrade at what his contract is to me, and whatever else you'd have to give up for him.
Right.
What do you think about Mason McTavish?
There's some kind of yellow, if not red lights there, where getting benched down the stretch is not a good thing for a $7 million player who's young and supposed to be one of the next big things for your team. I know they have just such a wealth of assets in terms of like really good young centermen. So he's kind of getting edged out, which is, I guess, good from a Ducks perspective. But for that, like, it's just the foot speed, man. With him, it's the red lights of like he got benched and all that stuff, but it's also just, even if that was just a blip and he really is going to continue good development and become a very good player, it's just not a good fit. Like the Habs play with counterattack, they play with speed, they play a north-south game a lot of the time, especially the top six. Like that's the way they want to do it. He's much more of a very slow build cycle type of guy that I don't know that I see the fit. And then also the ask, or what everybody's sort of rumored to be saying would be asked, is David Reinbacher and a first, or David Reinbacher and a second and a fourth. I've seen, which I will not say that David Reinbacher is a non-starter for me. What I will say is that sounds strikingly similar to the Chelios trade, to the Sergachev trade, to the McDonough trade. So maybe that's just a Habs history bias thing, but like getting the question mark not working out change of scenery forward who's not as good as we all thought he was for the defenseman who's just taking a little longer to develop. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just like upgrade versus Newhook and Kapanen. Like if there even is one, it's small.
And so that's the thing too. Like, why move a major asset for a minor upgrade?
Yeah.
Why not move that major asset and other major assets, pool them all together, and get a legitimate second line center?
I agree. So, couple free agent forwards to think about here: Boone Jenner, Jason Dickinson, and Jack Roslovich. Those are the 3 free agent centers that are unrestricted coming up, and this is why everything has to be through trade and through the draft, because this specific position, we'll get to the defensemen. There are, like, whether Trouba wants to play in Canada or not, but like Trouba, Rasmus Anderson, Connor Murphy, John Carlson, like there's actually some defense available in unrestricted free agency. That center market,
it's trash.
So of those names or anyone else unrestricted that you wanted to touch on briefly?
Yeah, I do like the idea of putting Jason Dickinson, a guy with 7 goals last year with Ivan Demidov. Maybe he can hit the 10 goal mark. Like, what are we doing?
I'm just giving you the names of unrestricted free agents who happen to be centers or quasi centers in Roslovich's case.
Sure. And I could give you the names of like 4th string goalies. It's just like, you're getting a second line center, but you're also getting the guy who's going to play with Demidov. So that's the focus, right? We've said that before. So none of these guys move the needle enough, not even close. Like I would keep Kapanen. We were talking about
exactly
like McTavish being only a slight upgrade. These guys are downgrades.
It's that delta, right? Like what the delta is between Kapanen / Newhook, whoever you view as that center, and all these other names. And if that delta is like barely there, or in some of these examples worse, like it's negative, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Focus your attention elsewhere. And one thing I'll say about Alex Newhook, where I've been coming around on, I'm okay with him being the 6th of the top 6. And that can be as either the center or the winger. Like, I just think you need someone better than him with Demidov, and then he can be the complementary piece. Because that's also, like, I've been thinking about when people use the term middle 6 player, they mean third liner, right? They likely, or like a tweener. And I think Newhook's a great example of, like, if he's the last part of the top 6 or a strong piece of the third line, like that is what a middle 6 player actually is. So yeah, I don't know. That's just like my Alex Newhook tangent.
I think that's right too, by the way. I think if you get one guy who's better than him at the level of Demidov, you're really happy with your top 6 then. Let's be specific though. You need a play driver, ideally. Because Newhook's okay at it, Demidov will get okay at it, but you need a legitimate play driver on that line, which was why, like, when nice stuff happened, which maybe we'll talk about him, maybe we don't really have to. We've kind of gone into detail, and it looks like it's kind of not happening now. But like when that was discussed, I think the one thing we failed to mention was like, yeah, he'd be great for us, but he doesn't really fix the lack of play driving on that second line, because he's not a play driver. He's a dump and chase, bang and crash, but then happen to be in the perfect position to take a ripper of a shot. And he's going to hit guys, and he's going to be a great power forward, but he's not a play driver.
Well, the idea is 21-year-old Demidov's the play driver.
Great. I get that. I love that the top line has Suzuki and it has Slav. I love that you have 2, like Suzuki's one of the best play drivers we've had. Maybe the best, actually, since we've been watching hockey, you and I. I don't think that's even really a question.
Oh, it's just his team. If 48 might be the other one.
Yeah, Hudson, exactly. That's who I was thinking of. I was thinking of Markov, but he was more deferential. But Markov,
What a guy.
what a guy.
Good times.
Oh man. All right. Sidetrack number 3,
That's
4
at least
already
the
of the
third
episode.
one.
When we're in person, do we sidetrack more or less? I think more.
More because this is all like editing jargon, but there's less dead air.
Right, where I think you might be speaking, but you're not.
Yeah, and I can also cut you off a lot faster, which makes us...
Which is, that's amazing, because I tend to, if you haven't noticed in the 100-something episodes we've done, I tend to ramble.
A little bit here and there. Okay, so out on the free agent centers. So with that then, I think it's time we move into some trades.
Great.
The Patterson one wasn't a real one, obviously.
No.
It was just...
No.
Okay, so here. I've written a few down. And we're going to stick with the forwards for now. I have a few for defensemen as well. We'll keep the defensemen for a little bit later. So I'm going to try to build our way up to more and more.
Clarify.
Okay. So I have trade
building
tier
up to pissing me off, or because that's usually your goal here.
Yeah. So my tiers are tier 1 is let's not get silly. Tier 2 is starting to get silly. Tier 3 is silly.
Okay.
So that's how we're going to deal with this. Again, some forwards, some defense. The defenseman trades are less exciting, obviously. But I think it's in part, again, because the defenseman UFAs are more interesting to talk about than necessarily like a Zach Whitecloud trade.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's not get silly. Alex Laferriere for 28, Jaden Struble, and Oliver Kapanen, which I think is like the base package that Kent is offering any team at this point. It's certainly an upgrade on Ryder Halak in a second, but 28 Kapanen and sorry, what was it? 28 Struble and Kapanen for Alex Laferriere. So 2 years left on his contract, $4.1 million. RFA, crucially, at the end of that deal.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like Alex Laferriere. I just wonder how much of an upgrade he is on Kapanen, because he does not enter the chat in terms of like being better than Newhook for sure.
Right.
To me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he has the potential to be, but to me, he's a middle six guy as well. So you're not getting silly. I think this is a legitimate proposal.
Yeah,
I don't know that you have to do the first though.
It's 28.
I know it's 28, but like,
but you're also not really. I mean, I guess because you are giving up Kapanen in here, eh? So, but my view is that Laferriere still has a runway to become a impactful winger on this team. I don't really view him as a center. I know he took.
No, he's a right winger. I think Laferriere.
So
and he's also, you know what, man. He's also playing in kind of at least this past year, the Kings system was kind of crappy. It did not, I don't think it helped him shine. Can you imagine,
like, if that coach got rehired in LA? You know, like,
I can't. I feel like you just saw a bit of news and you're about to blow my mind on
No, just Jim Hiller got
Oh, yeah, it's Jim Hiller. Oh, my God.
I think your brain short-circuited because you're like, no.
No, there's no way it could happen. Oh, wait, someone already did that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So yeah, Laferriere for 28, Kapanen and Struble. Who says no?
I think the Habs say no.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's fair.
I think if it's not the first because they saved that for something else, you might be onto something. But once again, I think Kapanen and the first, Struble, whatever, put aside, but Kapanen and the first are two assets that could be sweeteners in a bigger deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so crucially not a center, right? And something I've been thinking about is every year Kent Hughes has gone out and used a premium asset to get the Habs a center. In 22, it was Romanov a third and a fourth for Doc, as well as the 33rd pick in the draft for Owen Beck.
Yeah.
2023, he trades 31 and 37 for Alex Newhook.
Yeah.
2024, I think the Habs have the 26th pick in the draft, attaches a second and a fifth, I think, to move up to 21 to get Michael Hage. And then certainly not as a high profile, but you traded the second round pick for Phil Deneau last season.
Right.
So each of the 4 seasons that we've seen so far, Hughes is out there trying to get a center for the Habs. Again, last year was more of a stopgap, middle six, Dvorak replacement, but he's always out there trying to do something, and he's willing to spend decent assets to bring that center in. So I don't know if Laferriere is the right guy. Not that this is like premium, but you're right. Like a 28 in Kapanen, truthfully, can be viewed as enough. Maybe that's our rose-colored glasses.
Maybe it is. And listen, I was planning on inserting this comment a little later on when we talked about more legitimate centers, but I think it's more useful here. repeating the same action over and over again, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity, right? And Doc was a question mark. Newhook was a question mark somewhat. The question mark being, is he a center? Is he a winger? Is he top six or is he middle six? Hage is still young. That's the one that is not. Dano's not a question mark. He just flat out is not a top six guy. Like, how many times can you trade for a center that isn't really a top six center before realizing, like, I gotta stop doing these like middling things? Not to say that they're insignificant, right?
How do you get them? How do you get these guys short of drafting one? Right. And this is where like the people angry at Monty are correct in terms of like there were 4 great centers in the draft 23. All like the next center is like drafted 19th, and the Habs just happened to have the 5th pick in the draft.
Right.
So they bumbled. In 22, they picked Slav over 2 centers. Now, definitely correctly in terms of not taking Shane, right? Logan Cooley, TBD, whether Slav is better than Logan Cooley, but I think they had a vision in Slav, and Slav scored 30 goals as a 22-year-old. So can't be too upset. 24, while there are other centers, you have Demidov, and you just kind of like crip walk your way to the stage with Celine Dion because you're so happy. And then last year, you're moving it for Noah Dobson. So like, it's really hard to get those guys. And also Michael Hage, by the way, is he going to be a center?
Yeah, it's okay. Question mark there too. I took him out of the question mark game, but there he is right back in, because you're right. He might end up being a better, like, the new kind of Newhook.
So
center, not really.
Tough. Point is, it's tough, which is why I've kind of been the last couple months being like, just get a top 6 guy. And I feel like that's enough of a step, especially if you can get a non-center without giving up Hage.
So that's the key, is do not give up Hage unless you get the top 6 center.
Yeah.
Who's definite, no question mark.
Okay. Can we go into silly? Starting to get silly?
You only had one non-silly, you silly goose. Yeah, let's do it.
Caden Gooley and Oliver Kapanen for Steven Stamkos.
Oh, gross. No. Oh,
wow.
Old. Does the cane come with? Sorry, I'm being...
How many goals did he score last
year?
A lot.
A lot of goals.
He scored 42 goals.
I know, on a pretty bad team.
So to me, he is the perfect stopgap. 2 years... You can shift him to wing. Whether he's a center or a wing, actually, I would probably prefer to have Newhook at center at this point and put Stamkos.
But for Gooley, okay. So Kapanen, see you later. Thank you. Let's. That's fine. Gooley,
tough one. We've said there's a surplus.
There's a surplus. I hate the idea of Gooley being the guy who's expendable.
Yeah, like we talk about Gooley and Sons, which is all I've been calling it the past week, as like the Gooley and Sons is like the top 4 of Matheson, Dobson, Hudson, Gooley. Problem is 3 are lefties, 1's a righty. There's not the real balance you have, and depending on your belief in Carrier and extending him or Reinbacher or some of the UFAs, there's still too many lefties. And then you also have Adam Engstrom and you have Bryce Pickford. Like, there's a lot of lefties. So that's where, if you're shaking it loose, and I don't think you're trading Mike Matheson, and I do believe at least his new contract has a no move clause for a couple years, that's where Gooley can kind of get shaken loose. And there's the other part about Caden Gooley, like, I don't know, man, you might just be selling high at this point, considering how his playoff went. It's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah.
Because you absolutely need work on the defense at this point if you move him as well. But again, you want to fill the top 6 for at least a couple years and buy you that Jurovsky Hage time that they need.
Okay. I'm starting to see that. Just on the defense thing, Pickford is a righty.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine, but that's probably a long way off anyway, and you've got a lot of offense from the blue line anyway, and that's his bread and butter. So that might end up being an interesting trade chip. But so okay, Matheson. At what point do we get out of the realm of like he's a hometown guy, you never trade him? Because that's been our viewpoint for years, ever since we've gotten him.
It depends on how they choose to utilize him. I think his contract is so fine. Like, it's 5 years.
So that's the key,
$6
right?
million
Is
or
that
whatever.
he's a third pairing guy who's being asked to do too much currently.
He's being asked to do a first pairing job when he should be his best case scenario is the third pairing guy, but still PK1. So he still gets like 18 minutes a game.
Yep, I love that.
But Marty's not there right now, and I don't know like how much is this like St. Louis decision, but like he's getting paid like as a number 4 defenseman. Mike Matheson is. I forget the exact number. It's between 5 and 6 million, in and around that range. I think it's a 5-year deal for 6.
I think it was 6.
So
I'm gonna look right now.
And Gooley's like 5.55 or something like that. Like,
yeah,
they're both being paid as like number 4s right now. So I mean, you can't move Matheson because it looks really bad that you extended him and then you trade him before his extension kicks in, which has a no trade. Whereas I believe his current contract doesn't have that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
anyways, so anything else on this Stamkos one? We're silly.
You're getting silly. This is in the proper category. Look, I'm not as adverse to it as from the get-go. The more I think about it, as kind of you're painting him as a stopgap, which makes a lot of sense. What if the decline starts game 2 of this year? Not to say that it hasn't begun. It's just like, what if that's where the cliff is?
So there's a trade-off, right? Because what if Caden Gooley plays 44 games again next year?
Yeah.
This is the trade-off. I also like it. I don't think it's happening. Stamkos has no trade. Like I'm suspending some belief here.
I think he might waive it to come to Montreal after seeing what they did this past year, knowing what we need,
we'll see.
Seeing that he could play with Demidov and potentially score 50 with him. It's so weird to be sitting on this fence, because on one side of it I'm like, Stamkos with Demidov, holy shit. And then on the other side I'm like, yeah, but what if you get 10 good games out of him?
I think most Habs fans will say no to this, but I think management would be very inclined to say yes to this.
Okay. Look, it also hinges on, and I think a lot of these mock trades are going to hinge on how ready Reinbacher really is. If he's ready to step into the top 4, I'm much more interested in potentially making this deal.
Okay. My next tier is silly. Do you have anything in this range? Did you want to?
Oh, that's true.
You want to jump in?
So yeah, I have a handful of trades. Some are legitimate, some are a little silly. Like, I won't try to enter the realm of silly and try and compete with you because you're the king of silly. You're wearing a propeller hat as we speak, but I will try. How about this one for silly? Vancouver and Montreal. So we give up Gallagher just as a, here you go play for the Canucks. We all know you want to be there. They kind of want you. Let's make that work. That's sort of on the side. The actual. We would get 2 right-handed defensemen. Forget one. Tom Willander, Philip Hronek.
Oh my God. Okay.
He has a full anchor.
Sure.
Hronek. So like that's why this one's silly. Hronek is not going anywhere. And then Pettersson half retained for the 2026 first, 2027 first. David Reinbacher, Oliver Kapanen. And then throw in a bunch of other stuff, whatever you want.
It's like, okay, how long is this list? So you want Vancouver's best player. You want one of their best prospects pre-Caleb Malhotra era.
Sure.
And then you're going to take Elias Pettersson. Are they retaining? Why not?
Yeah, half. They're retaining half. And maybe I can compete. Give me the propeller hat.
Yeah,
Hand it over.
No,
okay. My realistic one for this, though, it is forget Hronek, forget Pettersson. That was a goof. We don't have to entertain that. Tom Willander, the 11th overall pick, 2023, still on his ELC. For Gallagher, Kapanen, 2026 first. You potentially would have to add Engstrom as well to compensate their defensive prospects a little bit. Am I being too silly with this one? Like, I love the idea of getting Tom Willander. I'm sure they don't love the idea of getting rid of him. But
simplify it. It's Willander to the Habs.
Willander to the Habs.
And stuff to the Canucks. Centered around what exactly?
Oliver Kapanen and a 2026 first, and Brendan Gallagher.
That's a no for me.
Yeah, Gallagher half retained.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good hustle.
Good hustle. Yeah, I know. I'm desperately looking. Like, Tom Willander is the best possible thing you could get out of a team that's looking to make moves, which the Vancouver Canucks definitely are. You've opened the door because you have to talk about Brendan Gallagher already. So while you're on the phone, you go, hey, by the way, what about this?
The old Robert Thomas switcheroo.
Correct.
Gotcha.
All that being said, like, without giving up Reinbacher, basically, this conversation probably doesn't happen.
No. Yeah.
Or Hage or Zhuravsky or like another sort of high-end player. If we get into that realm, though.
Sure.
Like.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in Vancouver I'd be interested in talking and getting. But I don't see the urge on Vancouver's side to lose Willander.
No, they're about to embark on a difficult kind of time-consuming rebuild. Yeah. You don't give up that guy. Can I stop you before you? Actually, you know what? You're too smart. You wouldn't bring this guy up. Brock Besser. He's the other guy everybody talks about in Vancouver.
Okay.
He's slower than McTavish. What are we talking about? And he's old. Like, Not old, but like older.
Okay. I mean,
I'm not bringing him up from the perspective of like, let's talk about this. I'm saying let's not because everybody else is, but I just don't explain to me why everybody's so interested in Brock Besser
puts the puck in the net historically.
by standing there with a shovel.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, okay. So I too have a Vancouver trade.
Okay.
It also includes Brendan Gallagher. Here we go. This is a fun one. To Vancouver, the 28th pick in the draft, Brendan Gallagher, Alex Jarofsky, and Bryce Pickford. To Toronto,
Whoa.
2027 Montreal first round pick, Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser.
Whoa.
To Montreal, Matthew Nyes and Pittsburgh's 2027 fourth round pick. That's just so every team is compliant in a 3-team trade. I'll say it one more time because I know I lost people. So it's basically the Nyes package.
Yeah.
Split up a little bit. So Montreal is sending out 2 firsts, Jarofsky and Pickford. They're also giving. So one of those firsts is going to Toronto. The other first this year's is going to Vancouver, plus Brendan Gallagher. Vancouver, who wants the rebuild and whose owner doesn't want to spend any money, is shedding Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser's contracts.
Yep.
And again, they are getting Alex Jarofsky. They are getting a first round pick. They are getting Bryce Pickford. The Leafs, who their goal for the next 12 months is to convince Austin Matthews to extend. It's the same thing that Edmonton's doing right now, except with Edmonton, it's you have to win a cup in 12 months. I think with Toronto, it's just prove this is worth my time.
Yeah.
So they just went after Darren Radish. Now it's let's go bring in 2 middle 6 wingers. Let's beefing up our team. They clearly don't like Matthew Nyes, this new management team. The fact that his name is still out there after all this nonsense.
It's an analytics thing.
You're moving out Matthew Nyes. You're getting DeBrusk and Besser back, both under contract long term, and you're also grabbing a first from Montreal. So that would mean next year you would have Colorado's first, which you already have from the Nick Watt trade, and now you have the Habs first in 2027. So you have 2 firsts locked and loaded that you're able to continue to make your team better.
Yep. So
Habs get nice.
Am I absolutely stupid to think that Bryce Pickford is the sticking point? You could say yes.
I changed it to Pickford from Engstrom because of like the WHL connection. That was it.
Oh, okay. Well, so change it to Engstrom and I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. I still have the disclaimer to say about like Matthew Nyes not being the puck driver, the play driver, I should say.
Yeah.
If he's gonna run over guys, maybe I'm less inclined to worry about that. And then Hudson and Dobson and Matheson and Gooley can be the play drivers from the blue line because we actually have multiple. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know what? This is fascinating. Okay, who says no? We always do who says no, but like this is 3 teams now. This is harder.
I think the Habs say yes, clearly, because it's basically the exact same package they were already willing to give up. Plus they're throwing in Gallagher as well. Whether they have to retain on Gallagher or not, whatever, it doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Okay. Vancouver, from my understanding, they want to shed contracts and suck. You're losing DeBrusk and Besser. You're getting Galley for a year. Galley is $6.5 million cap hit, but only $4 million actually being paid.
Yeah.
And then you're accumulating a first round pick, Jarofsky, and let's call it Engstrom.
It's pretty good from their perspective.
You're going to get worse. You're going to spend less money. My understanding is that's what they want to do.
Could they get more for those 2 assets? For Jake DeBrusk, for Brock Besser?
That's a fair question. Yeah, you might. Because I guess from Toronto's perspective, Toronto, it's Nyes out, and then you get a first, Besser, and DeBrusk.
So they could potentially give up much more.
So maybe Toronto has to pitch in a bit there.
Which is great. That's fine by me. If the package is the same for the Habs, then they just have to mess around. Look, in a vacuum, not knowing, obviously, like we're not in the heads of any of these GMs, but I like this. I think this works.
This is a silly one.
Sure.
But like the idea is Nyes is still out there, but they're not interested in that package because they clearly are indicating to other teams they're trying to win. So that's, I was like, who is rebuilding that can get rid of players? I thought of Calgary. Calgary just has no good players.
Right.
And then Vancouver actually does have good players.
Yep.
So that's where the 3-teamer came in.
Fascinating.
I have one more in the silly category.
Okay, before you do, because that one deserves this, let me hand back the propeller hat to you. There you go. It's still spinning.
All right. So this is not a 3-team trade technically, but it would be like 2 simultaneous trades. It's just because you have to start throwing in random picks to other teams and it gets confusing and annoying.
Okay.
Brian, what would you tell me if how would you feel if I told you we could help Dylan Larkin make his way to Vegas?
I don't know, man. Like that makes is he carrying a box filled with rats that he's going to let loose in their arena.
Maybe we can add that as a stipulation in the contract.
If that's in there, then I'm all ears.
Vegas has $4 million in cap space. They have to re-sign Rasmus Anderson. Everything is indicating that they are going to do that, which means they're going to be over the cap. And Dylan Larkin's been one of the teams Dylan Larkin seems to be okay to go to. So let me run through the two trades. The Canadiens are part of the first one, not necessarily part of the second one.
Okay.
The first one, to Vegas, the 28th pick in the draft, Oliver Kapanen and Caden Gooley. To Montreal, Tomas Hertl. And then Vegas takes that package, adds Trevor Connolly and a 2028 first, and gets Dylan Larkin. So,
Whoa.
again, I'll frame it as like a 3-teamer, but recognizing it's two simultaneous-ish trades. So, Detroit out Larkin, Detroit in, a Habs first, a Vegas 2028 first, Kapanen, Connolly, Gooley.
Okay.
Vegas, it's Larkin in, out is Hertl, a first, and Connolly. Habs, it's Hertl is in, out, a first, Kapanen and Gooley.
Maybe it's just because of how convoluted it is, but I'm having trouble finding the obvious.
Here, I'll let you stare at it. Don't scroll any further down, but
okay, no spoilies.
Lots of dead air here. I'll just let people know. Brian's been staring at this for 15 seconds, and it's because I'm slowly. Well, first of all, he's untangling the web because it is a bit convoluted. But again, it's essentially the Canadiens are getting Tomas Hertl for a first, Gooley, and Kapanen. The Larkin part is irrelevant to our part of the discussion.
And that was the snag, but because that's to me that's not enough for Larkin. Larkin has requested a trade,
but Larkin gets that plus a first and Trevor Connolly.
Yes, and he gets what he wants because he's asking to get the hell out.
So 2 first-round picks: Trevor Connolly, Oliver Kapanen, Caden Gooley. That's got to be enough for Dylan Larkin. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's late firsts. There's no one piece that's like Larkin level or close. But
on the Habs end, 32-year-old Tomas Hertl. You get your second line center.
Oh, and then some. Hertl's amazing.
Thank you, San Jose, for retaining on that contract.
Yeah.
So it's only 6.75 for 4 more years.
I do that in a heartbeat if I'm the Canadiens. Absolutely. No hesitation. And I've had gripes with age. I don't have a gripe with this one.
Okay.
He's a better stopgap than Stamkos to me because he becomes your amazing third line center in 3 to 4 years when he's mid-30s.
I will say on the Hertl end, and it's the same thing with the Vegas guys, the Vancouver guys. Sorry, no moves, no trade dampens the fun here, but we're not gonna really focus on that.
Yeah, the anchor stops the boat.
What about the defense?
So okay, before we get into the silly ones, I want to talk about one where this one's been talked about. I know you said that. Actually, I don't know if you said this explicitly on the pod, but Rasmus Ristolainen, chances are Philly's going to want to keep him. The ask, supposedly, is a 2026 first and a prospect. If I'm the Canadiens and that prospect can be like Engstrom or somebody I don't want to say insignificant, that's mean, but like somebody who's not Reinbacher, not Jurovsky, not Hage, not Fowler.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can even call Fowler a prospect anymore. Is Ristolainen worth it?
Is he that much better than Alex Carrier? Again, it's the delta again. I'm talking about like the delta difference here. So Ristolainen, crucially, like Carrier, has 1 year left, and then he's an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that really kills your value, man.
It's a rental.
In terms of what Philly wants.
Yeah.
Like, I'm presuming this guy is going to want like 6x6. Well, he's already getting paid 5.1. So like, I presume he's going to want another big contract.
Dude, he's going to want Radish money, actually. Let's be real.
Yeah. And maybe I'm underrating him, honestly. Like, it could absolutely be the case here. I don't love it in terms of what it would cost. Like I wrote down and I put it in a highlighter because I wrote Ristolainen for number 28. And like,
so that's not enough based on what they've said they want.
But I wasn't even going to throw that out there because I don't think so.
Then, so I agree with you, by the way. If the package is the first plus a prospect, I think I'm out.
It's the UFA part. If he was an RFA after this and there was more control, I'd be more into it.
That would also mean he'd be younger, which hell yeah. He's 32 years old. Right-handed defenseman, great defensively. His underlying numbers are phenomenal defensively. Like he's basically exactly what you would need if you want to keep Jack Eye in the lineup. You put him next to Jack Eye, and suddenly that pairing doesn't look half as bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? Forget it.
28 in Struble for Zach Whitecloud. Similar package, different type of player. 2 years left for Whitecloud, and I have to double check.
Younger.
I believe Actually, I don't think White. No, I think White Cloud's also a UFA at the end of that deal.
He would. Yeah, he's 29. He would have to be. Interesting.
Younger, cheaper.
Younger, cheaper. Okay.
Struble, you don't see Struble at all as a part of the future of this team, so it's whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about
so
that.
28 in Struble.
It's more just like you're adding another guy to this already crowded defense group, but maybe this comes with the stipulation of like another move happens of consolidation.
The idea is that if you have Dobson is just not the toughest guy in front of the net. Caden Gooley struggles to stay healthy. Lane Hudson is incredible at so many things. It's not one thing he's not great at is clearing guys in front of the net.
Yep.
You hope Matheson can like grow into that a little bit more. They need a bit more of a mean streak in front of their own net. I don't know if White Cloud is the guy for it, but generally, and that's why we're talking about the defense. It's that's the type of guy they need to identify. I still believe in a Caden Gooley, David Reinbacher duo that can be that.
Right.
But anyways, like the point is like if we're viewing Gooley and Sons as like four that are more or less here to stick, unless the only time we've brought up Gooley today is when there's a way better player on the other side.
Yeah.
Otherwise, those four guys are staking. And then if Reinbacher's ready and Carey is still around, like it's not the toughest back end. And that is, despite the fact that they have bodies, they have really high quality NHLers there. They might not have the right mix yet.
Yeah, that's a very fair statement.
So,
I mean, when you look at your top two guys being, more offensive, definitely in the case of Lane Hudson, but his defensive game is good. Dobson improved his defense massively this year, but you do need that toughness. You're right.
It's missing.
Yeah, you're dead on.
Okay. Anything else on the defense? What else do we got? We can talk about the UFAs too. There's a John Carlson interest you. It looks like 2 years, maybe $12 million a year will get you that contract. You hate that. I saw your eyes. No one else can see.
So much money, man. He's Connor McDavid minus 500,000. No, that's a bad example. I know.
No, he's Darren Radish plus $4 million, plus $3.5.
That's insane to me. That's insanity.
$2.5 million more than Noah Dobson.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So I don't think Carlson's a good fit for what the Habs need.
No.
I also think he's going to Philly because Philly has cap space. Like they have to sign Zegras and they have to sign
Drysdale.
Yes, defenseman.
Yeah.
So I still think if the rumors are true that he wants to go back east, it feels like Philadelphia.
They have enough cap to do all of that?
I think they do.
Whoa, $32.5 million. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting destination.
Jacob Trouba not expected to want to go play in Canada. I believe it is. I think Marco D'Amico has been on this. It has something to do with his partner being in the medical profession, and if her being able to work in Canada would just be like a whole set of like equivalencies.
Are you kidding? Do you know how many medical people we need here? Please come on over.
It's something.
Are you good at what you do?
I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to remember, but it's something along those lines of like Trouba's not there. Which, by the way, San Jose, can you be good next year so Vegas can miss the playoffs?
Not happening, man.
It can. You know what? They almost did. So like, shut up.
Dude, the Tortorella effect lasts. How long did it last with Philly? Like 2 years till
He's
it started
already fired.
off?
It's okay. They've moved on.
They fired him?
Well, he got let go. They didn't renew his contract. Well, you've been under a rock, eh? Well,
I've
it's been a tough week at work, huh?
Completely. No, I don't give a shit about Vegas. So any news comes up Vegas, I just scroll down.
That's fine.
But really, I thought that experiment was going to last.
No.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, go San Jose.
Go get Jacob Trouba. Sorry, that's more Anaheim, but like you have there's like $50 million in cap space or something ridiculous. It's probably not that high. You made your trade for Kesselring. Go get Jacob Trouba. Go get better on the defense. Make one of your division rivals weaker, and then bump Vegas out of the playoffs. It'd be so funny.
You know what you saying Anaheim just made me think of?
Mason McTavish again?
No, a player that I never want to play against, which means that if he's on your team, he can't hurt you.
No, don't say it. Going Rocco Gudis?
No, Lucas Dostal. Yeah, Radko Gudas. the renowned piece of shit Radko Gudas.
Pass.
Yeah, me too.
Such
okay. All right. Just thought I'd throw him out there because he has been in talks.
If Rasmus Anderson, if Vegas can't do anything to finagle cap space, you want to call him?
Yes. That one is legitimate.
7 years, $8.5 million a year. You're fine with that.
Absolutely fine.
On the cheaper end, Connor Murphy, 33. Would presume like
he's big.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
6'4", 215.
You don't mess with him.
Upgrade on Carey probably.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he if you throw 15 minutes a night at Connor Murphy and tell him protect the goalies, I do not mind that at all, and that would not cost a lot.
Yeah.
I'm interested. That seems like the right consolidation too. If Struble and if Carrier are gone, that's a consolidation of talent.
Yeah.
That I can get behind.
So we'll see. He's unrestricted. It doesn't seem like the Babcock component is affecting. We don't know. Edmonton have a ton of UFAs right now. We went through hilariously some of their forwards earlier. It doesn't seem like the Babcock stuff is going to skew negative, at least. Whether it skews positive, I would be shocked. But we don't have to get into the Babcock stuff. It's idiotic. What else do you want to? Who else do we have? We're kind of going rapid fire here.
I'm kind of running out. Okay, here's one. This is with the Devils, and I know we said that Heischer's not likely, but let's just get goofy. Heischer and Nemec for Doc, Reinbacher, Żurawski, and about 17 first-round picks. What do you think?
You probably need a couple. I don't know,
like a couple more first-round picks.
Yeah, maybe chuck in a 7th.
No,
maybe they can retain on Gallagher.
No, that's all to say. I'm pretty much done with like I more just have some targets of like.
Sure.
Let's discuss these guys. There's all the guys in St. Louis. All from Kyrou to Binnington, everybody's being talked about in St. Louis. Let's start Kyrou, and we can also talk about Robert Thomas, who's making basically the exact same money as him, 8.125. Thomas is way more enticing, but that would cost
he's not. They're gonna
an
give,
arm and
they're going to give him
legs.
the C, and he's not going to go anywhere. That was such like a blue balls that St. Louis pulled. We called it out at the trade deadline. They said Robert Thomas was available, but really meant everyone except him was available. So you can make phone calls and trade their guys. And hey, they got some decent stuff at the trade deadline, so it worked. But it was really annoying.
And they almost got more.
They almost got more, if not for the Parayko trade nicks.
Yeah. So, there's another name, Parayko. I think we've talked about him and said like, meh.
Yeah.
He's an upgrade on Carrier.
Absolutely. You slot him into the second pairing. I don't know. Does a duo with him and Matheson work?
I think him and Gooley works better, and then Matheson becomes your third pair. But
every scenario we have, Matheson becomes the third pair.
Yeah, because I think we're 1 year behind on that.
Yeah. Look, I don't hate it. Kyrou's the other guy I was like, I don't hate. I would be like, Ottawa's been brought up with Jordan Kyrou, and
interesting. I'd hate that because that would bolster their top 6 massively.
Yeah, I don't mind either of them, truthfully.
Okay.
Parayko maybe a little bit more enticing, which I know we talked about him at the deadline, but we were worried the price would be too high.
Yeah,
it probably still is.
Probably.
And we have seen him say no, thank you to trades. He has no trade. We have proof of it that he's just everyone saw what the trade was, and then he was like, guys, I'm not saying yes to it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, the last one, just because, and this is not coming from me, this is coming from a lot of people trying to probably get a rise from Habs fans. Shane Wright.
Go on.
That's all I got. It's just that he's brought up a lot. I'm trying to figure out why. I get it from the Seattle perspective of like, we don't know what we have here. We thought we had something, and
Seattle kept drafting centers, and it turns out they all suck.
Matty Beniers, he sucks, or he's just
he's
disappointing.
Better. He's Matty Beniers, their best center. Now that's a guy I wrote down as like, hey, what about him?
So screw Shane Wright, Matty Beniers, man, left-handed center, 6'2", basically with identical numbers to Slavkovsky from a year prior. So 20 goals, 30 assists, 50 points, just under 20 minutes a night. Like, this is a guy you could slot in second line center, left-handed, to play with Demidov, who I'd say, you know what? This is my one exception of like, he's a question mark. I don't know. I believe.
Beniers, that's a discussion worth having. I think they would ask for the moon because he is as close to a franchise, like face of the franchises they probably get right now in Seattle.
Okay. So what face coming back would be required to not just absolutely piss off your fan base and look like idiots?
I don't know. The thing where I can't answer is like, what is Seattle trying to do right now?
Yeah, that's true. They're kind of in no man's land.
They got good for a season and then kind of hit like not even treadmill of mediocrity. They're like a level below that where they're not bad enough to pick like first, second, third again. They're in like drafting 6th to 12th every year.
Yeah.
So tough spot to be in. Beniers is interesting, but we'll see. I'm sure Ken Hughes has already thought of that. He took you and I. So
sure.
Did you have anything else?
Not really. Like trade wise, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. Like we've gone kind of run through the gamut, and as usual when we do these discussions, we're seeing like
Yeah.
there's no perfect solution here.
Yeah.
So those who are clamoring for a trade, Kent Hughes is too smart to do a trade that's not going to be very good.
Okay. So you're all wrapped up. I have one more left that I intentionally left for last.
I know who it is because you haven't said him yet. Oh no, you did the nice one. We did the 3-team trade. That was crazy.
Yeah. So I lied when I said I had 3 tiers. There's
Oh.
there's a 4th tier.
Oh my God. Do you have a second propeller hat?
Trade tier 4 is called maniacal.
Oh God.
And we've been having issues recording today, so I'm going to stare at this and make sure our recording doesn't freeze so I get your genuine reaction to it.
Oh no. I swear to God, if Suzuki or Caulfield or if you do one of those again, I'm going to get pissed.
2 first-round picks, Caden Gooley, Jacob Fowler for Mark Scheifele.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of town. No. Not just because I hate him. I just don't actually think that he's legitimately that good. Do you want Suzuki to be your prime offensive guy, or do you want to restrict him to a defensive role? Because Scheifele is not capable of defense. Am I being an ass, or am I right?
5 years left on his contract. 33-year-old center easily slots into the second line center role.
And no.
He I think one of the few point per game players at 5-on-5 this season. Mark Scheifele.
Okay.
Finished with 103 points. To Nick Suzuki's 101 on a way worse team in Winnipeg. I know people will hate it. We mentioned him earlier I forget if we did or if we just thought about it with the Hellebuck stuff. Well, if you're chipping away at Hellebuck, you might start also thinking about chipping away with Mark Scheifele. 2 first, Caden Gooley and Fowler as the Hellebuck replacement. You want a second line center, man? You're an immediate cup contender. Now you lose Fowler, you lose Gooley. The 2 firsts or whatever.
The 2 firsts I don't care about. It's Fowler and Gooley. Fowler especially are the sticking points. And the fact that Suzuki then becomes... He already is an amazing two-way center, but like you want to restrict him further.
Yeah.
Scheifele doesn't play defense, man. I guess when you score 103 points, you don't have to. I don't know. You know what? I am...
You want to get the meat off to 90 points next year?
How many years has it been? And I'm still...
It's been 5 years. I know that's why it was the sticking point was always going to be that. Look, I actually think Winnipeg says no to this.
He's also 33. How many good years are you going to get for a potential like
your
top 5 goalie in the league?
The Habs' first window ends with the Suzuki first contract. It can easily get extended, but we know for sure it's going through the next 4 years. You just need Scheifele for that, then you can figure it out.
Yeah, is he effective in year 3 of that at 36, 37?
Yeah, but it's also you have a better to meet off.
You know what? I'm not being rational.
It's okay. I don't think Winnipeg says yes to this. I don't think they're ready to trade him. I don't think it's truthfully enough at this point. I think they can get better. I think Scheifele would be open to going to a bunch of different places.
Right.
So
someone would offer more and I wouldn't have to stress.
Exactly. So anyways, rapid fire. The Habs trade the pick?
Yes. Unquestionably. So that's one of you asked me for 3 prediction. That's my Habs prediction. The Habs do not make a selection in the first round.
Okay. I agree with that. I think they're trading it for a defenseman. Next up, the San Jose take Stenberg or do they go defense? They go Chase Reed.
I think Chase Reed, man. He looks too good to pass up for a team that I know historically they've gone best player available, even having a wealth of centers. I'd go Reed and go, thank God I have my 1D.
Yeah.
He looks phenomenal.
Otherwise, yeah, and then Stenberg goes to Chicago at 4, which now we're loaded.
Not Vancouver at 3?
I think Malhotra goes 3.
So
it's funny, I know. But
I don't know that Malhotra goes Malhotra because it just reeks of what's the word?
Nepotism.
Nepotism. Thank you.
I'm fine with it. Do it.
I am too. I think a person in that position goes, I'm sorry, son. I can't do it. I just can't. My hands are tied.
Anything else? Any other NHL predictions quickly before we wrap this up?
Kirby Dach will be traded for more than we expect.
Okay.
I think he has more value than we think he does. I think someone looks at him like a bad boy in a leather jacket and goes, I can change him.
Okay, sure. Morgan Riley trade to San Jose happens in like the dead of the summer.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Celebrini will extend. It's either going to be at the AAV he wants or for way shorter than San Jose is happy to agree with. I mean, there could be a universe where he extends for like 8 years at 13.5, but I think it's either like 5 years at 18 or 8 years at like 18 or 19, like plus Kaprizov,
Yeah.
or way less years for San Jose's number.
He seems like a smart guy. Wouldn't he want to?
I think he wants to stick around. So maybe he's happy with like 14.75.
That's what I'm
15.
thinking. Yeah, 14,
quite
15,
Kaprizov.
and yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we'll wrap it there.
There is a world where Kaprizov is the outlier, and every other star player just goes.
No, it's Hughes is coming up. Matthews is coming up. McDavid is obviously going to be coming up.
That's true. All right.
There's a lot of guys. Makar's going to be coming up in a couple years. 17 to 20 is going to, like, they're going to break through that barrier so
What an
fast.
era. This is crazy.
Okay. Well, look, we've recorded way too long. At least we think we are. We've had a lot of troubles recording today. Hopefully the edit makes it sound somewhat legible, I hope. Best of luck, everyone, in the draft. We'll be back after the draft, depending on how urgent the Canadiens, right? Depending if anything urgent happens with the Habs, we'll either record like fairly quickly or we'll let it simmer for a couple days. But until then, you can follow us on social media at HabslandPod and follow and find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And until draft night, go Habs.